Mansa Story, Season 2, Episode 11. As much as what the gate man was saying seemed straight to Mansa, he was smelling of alcohol, so Mansa didn't take him serious. She thought he was drunk. "You know what? I'll be back some other time. Take this and use it for something," Mansa said and gave out an amount of money to him as a token and left. Asabe, on the other hand, was trying as much as he could to reach Key, but to no avail. She even thought Chris was trying to pull a fast on her, and that got her upset. She thought of doing her worst if she didn't hear from him by the end of the day. Little did she knew that Chris has been arrested. She also planned to expose Chris and hurt Mansa in return if she didn't hear from him. Already she had tried to eliminate Mansa, but Mansa survived that. Asabel was responsible for poisoning Mansa at the hospital, all because she felt Chris was having something to do with her. She came to that conclusion when she met Mansa and Chris in the living room at the time she visited Chris. She read meaning into it when she saw that Mansa had placed her head comfortably on Chris' ramp. It wasn't her fault though. She had always noticed Chris cheating on her, and to her this was no different. It was left with only a matter of time for the next action to be known. Meanwhile, Ed Asare, the church financial secretary, had also noticed the tremendous withdrawal from the church account made by Mrs. Amposa. He had called the attention of the elder who visited Mrs. Amposa earlier on and arranged a meeting with him. Elder Asare had been waiting for a long time at his office, but the other elder was not showing up. It was a little after an hour had passed the scheduled time that he arrived. "Sorry, Elder Asare, for my lateness," he apologized as soon as he arrived. Without wasting much time, they began with what they had in mind. "Elder, I called you not for any reason, but lately I have noticed some huge withdrawals made by Mrs. Amposa without my approval. It's even obvious that the entire board is not aware of this. I think we should call for a board meeting immediately and bring it to their notice," said Elder Asare. "Elder Asare, there is something you need to know. Mrs. Amposa is up to something. I must admit that I know about the withdrawals. I went to her place the other time to inquire, but the answer she gave me was not to my satisfaction. We need to get to the bottom of these matters," the elder said. "Are you sure of what you are telling me?" asked Elder Asare. "Absolutely, Elder," he answered. "What do we do then?" asked Elder Asare. "Let's call for a meeting with the board members without her notice, then we can decide from there," he suggested. "That's a good idea. I'll do that as soon as possible," Elder Asare said. Mansa has gotten home around the same time. She met Ku alone at the home, especially in the living room, and they hung each other. Honestly, they had met each other. However, Ku felt it was the right moment for him to confess to Mansa what he had really done to her. "Mansa, there's something I need to tell you. Kindly sit down," Ku said. As soon as Mansa sat down, Mrs. Amposa came in. Ku saw that his mother looked very disturbed and worried. She had been crying ever since she learned that Chris has been arrested. "Mom, what is it? Are you okay?" Ku asked. "I'm just coming from the police station where your brother has been arrested," Mrs. Amposa said. "What? For what?" Ku asked. "He was caught in possession of illegal drugs," she said. "Not again," Ku said, feeling pity for his brother Chris. He wanted to help even after all Chris had done to him. "I just want to be in my room now. I am not feeling well. Lily will be spending the night with us today." "Cool. Show her the guest room when she comes. I will be traveling with her tomorrow morning," Mrs. Amposa said. "Let me take you to your rooms, Mom," Mansa said and held Mrs. Amposa to her room. Ku didn't like the idea of really spending the night there, but Chris' issue worried him more than anything. He had no option that wait in the living room till she comes. It was getting late and Mansa had already gone to bed, expect Ku. Riri arrived at 11 p.m. with excuse of being stuck in the traffic. Her outfit perfectly fitted her, exposing her beautiful curvy body. She was honestly looking stunning. For the first time, Ku saw how curved her body was. Indeed, it was very difficult for any man to ignore such a nice body figure. Ku showed her the guest room and went back into his room to sleep. Around 1:30 a.m., Riri sneaked into Ku's room. She was in silk night dress. She got close to Ku, who was far asleep by then, and kissed him on the lips gently, waking him up. Ku got up and saw Riri. Her perfume smelled all over her. Ku immediately knew the intention she had. As to whether he would be able to resist that temptation, only time would tell. To be continued.